Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to an ESPN NFL 2K5 Franchise Dynasty Run with the Philadelphia Eagles. We're at the end of year one, and it's Super Bowl time, baby, and the Eagles are banged up, to say the least. Correll Buckhalter is out, Todd Pinkston is out, Brian Westbrook is out, and of course, Donovan McNabb, all out for this game against the Buffalo Bills. As you can see, the starting quarterback is Drew Bledsoe, who, as we'll see in the next episode, the season recap, had himself a year bringing his team to the promised land of the Super Bowl. Backing him up in the halfback spot is Travis Henry, a really good running back in his own, backed up by Willis McGahee. They have some fullbacks. They have the real weapons, though, at wide receiver, centered by Eric Moulds, a great wide receiver. Lee Evans, also a very solid number 2 option. Shaw and Reed are all dangerous in their own right, coming in at the 3 and the 4 spot. So our secondary will have a big test today. Where we might not have as big of a test today is against their offensive line, and we'll see if our linebackers and our defensive line can hold up against these tackles and guards. None of them are above that 80 rating, so we might have a really good time against this defensive line today. On the other end of the ball, led by Mike Williams and Jennings over on the tackle side, on the defensive tackle side, I should say, Patrick Williams and Adams lead the defensive front. I was talking about the tackles before. It's okay. You can read the defensive ends. We only have Aaron Schobel on the outside as the one good defensive end, so we'll see if we can take advantage of that other side. And then the linebackers are good. You have Takeo Spikes on one end of the outside. You also have London Fletcher holding down the inside linebacker position. Elite linebackers abound for the Buffalo Bills. A little bit weaker in the secondary. Nate Clements is their best cornerback. He's probably going to spend most of his time on Terrell Owens today, but you can see here McGee, Thomas Edwards, not really up to snuff. But Lawyer Malloy, one of the best players in the league, a really elite strong safety, one of the best safeties in the league, but we also have one of the best safeties in the league as well in Brian Dawkins. And you can see Pearson Prioliu. I don't even say his name. I don't even know why I tried to say his name in this one, because I don't say it at all. I don't even write it down in the script. But we've got Ryan Lindell as the kicker and Brian Moorman as a very weak punter. So we think we line up pretty good against these Buffalo Bills. You can also see that these guys are feeling a little bit of the injury bug. They have more people on the injured reserve than we have on the injury report, period. It doesn't look like they're missing any terribly elite players, but maybe the absence of Evans or Vincent in that cornerback spot might hurt them, and Mario Edwards. They lost 3 cornerbacks. So you can see the stale of the stats tape. We have that 97 overall elite defense, but their defense is also at 87. And if we remember the scores from the last time, they put up like 68 points in the AFC Championship. So this defense has definitely got its task cut out for them. And before we head into the Super Bowl, please smash that like button. Toss us a comment to tell us your favorite moment of this first season of the Eagles run. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 250. If you're here and you're already subscribed, thank you as always for being a part of this journey. Let's head to the Super Bowl. Eagles versus Bills, and we are off to beautiful Jacksonville, Florida for this Super Bowl in 2005. It's a beautiful day. We're in Florida in the winter, and that's okay because you know it's always going to be gorgeous even in Jacksonville at this time of the year. We have the Buffalo Bills coming out of their end of the tunnel. They had an absolute devastatingly good year, going 16-2, including playoffs, cruising through the AFC playoffs with not much of the competition. And on the other end of the NFC tunnel, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, similarly dominating the way, led by Andy Reid. We know that guy. He's still pretty relevant these days. They did lose Donovan McNabb about 7 weeks into the season to an ACL tear, but they've been led by the backup Jeff Blake all the way into the promised land of the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia faithful are ready to go here in sunny Florida. The coaches meet at midfield. They exchange their pleasantries. They smile for the cameras. And we are ready for this Super Bowl here in Jacksonville. Both teams, northern teams, used to that winter weather, but they're going to get some gorgeous warm weather as the Blue Angels fly overhead and disappear into the twilight sky. Let's head down to the field for the coin toss. The Bills, choosing tails, lose the coin toss, and the Eagles will elect to receive and take the ball first. They kick it away and end up on their own 26. Jeff Blake dropping back. His first pass of the day is a dangerous one into coverage, just tipped away, pass incomplete. 2nd and 10, Bruce Perry gets the first call of the day. Bruce Perry, our only halfback that's healthy on the roster, although we do have Brian Westbrook in the injured trenches if we need to break glass, just in case. He's only doubtful for this game, which means we could put him in if we want to. After that, 3rd and 10 is incomplete. The Bills take over after a 3 and out from the Philadelphia Eagles offense. Bledsoe's first pass is tipped away by Lito Shepherd. His second pass over the middle also dropped on contact. Brian Dawkins is in there for the coverage. 3rd and 10, trying to avoid a 3 and out on the first drive himself. Bledsoe finds Lee Evans for the completion 15 yards down the field. You can see Lee Evans is having himself a pretty good postseason, but hasn't been able to get into the end zone quite yet. Henry gets his first carry of the day, getting up the middle for 2 yards. Brian Dawkins is in there quickly for the stop. 2nd and 8, Henry gets the call up the middle again. Wayne and Dawkins combined for the tackle. That's a 3rd and 4. Bledsoe dropping back, throws that one over to the right side. It bounces off of the hand of his receiver. Evans wanted the pass interference call. He's not going to get it, and the Bills will punt it away from their deep in their own territory. Sort of surprising that they didn't go for the field goal there, but the Eagles take over at their own 13. After that first pass is incomplete to Chad Lewis, Jeff Blake finds Terrell Owens open over the middle for 11 yards and a first down. 1st and 10 from their own 24, second completion, second first down. This one to Freddie Mitchell, who, if we see here, is having himself a fantastic postseason, getting into the end zone once already. Bruce Perry continues to get clamped up the right side for only 2 yards. Clements was in there on the stop. 2nd and 8, a little bit of daylight. Blake floats that one up, puts it perfectly into PK Sam's hands. That is a 24-yard gain and a first down for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jeff Blake, the inspired backup play ever since Donovan McNabb went down, continues into this postseason as he finds Terrell Owens over on the left side for a 15-yard gain. Move those chains again. Perry trying to find some daylight, breaks out of one but gets tackled right away. No gain on the play. Blake dropping back, slinging it to the left side. He's got PK Sam on the left, but he manages to drop it on the contact. That's going to be an incompletion. Dropping back again, rolling left, throwing left. This one to T.O., who had it in his hands. He drops it, and they get the flag for a defensive pass interference. Now, this isn't me arguing with the call at all, because we will take that 1st and goal from the Buffalo 5-yard line, but we are going to take another look at this because, honestly, you might be able to tell me where it is. Maybe it's right there on a little bit of contact impeding the path of Terrell Owens there, but regardless, it's a first down from the Buffalo 5, and we're going to take a sack right away. And even worse, Jeff Blake is down. He has fractured his arm. It's the injury that has plagued multiple Eagles this year. We had a fractured arm for multiple guys. Jeff Blake is now the next in the long line of Eagles to go down with that fractured arm. Perry gets over to the right side for no gain. So now we have rookie Andrew Hall, who, if you remember, had a disaster of a game against the Bengals, throwing 5 interceptions. So at this point, we are rightfully freaking out, but you just got to stand up to fear and go for it on 4th down. And John Ritchie barrels up the middle for 2 yards that we needed for the touchdown. And the Eagles risk big, they reward big, and they are up 7-0. So in the face of adversity, with their rookie backup quarterback and their rookie halfback, who is the 3rd stringer, the Eagles are now up 7-0 in the biggest game of their season. Buffalo taking over at their own 24. Bledsoe finds Eric Moulds for his first completion. That's going to be a 21-yard gain down into the Buffalo 45, and we're going to end the first quarter there. Heading into the second, the Eagles are up in the Super Bowl by a score of 7-0, but the Bills keep rolling. Bledsoe completes that one to Evans for 10 yards and a first down. You can see Bledsoe's stats here, having an even better postseason than Jeff Blake has had so far, as he hands it up to Henry, who gets over to the right side. Similarly, not really getting much daylight on the run game for the Bills either. Bledsoe's second pass there is deflected by Lito Shepherd, and Dawkins just lays the wood on the receiver there after the ball is tipped away. 3rd and 10, he finds Moulds this time for the gain of 12 yards, keeping the drive alive, move the chains into Philadelphia territory. Henry gets up the middle for only 2 yards. Nate Wayne has been a run stopper so far. 2nd and 8. Henry trying to find daylight again. This time Dawkins, the other run stopper, manages the stop for only 1 yard. Bledsoe dropping back. This one's going to be picked off by Michael Lewis, and he's thinking big play. Well, that's already a big play, but he wants the bigger play. He gets across midfield, and no one is even close to catching him. You see the lineman giving chase, crossing the 10, the 5. Give Michael Lewis 6. That is a pick 6 in the Super Bowl. Our strong safety, Michael Lewis, has done it again. After the interception, he bowls over Travis Henry just to add a little injury to insult there, and no one gets even close to him as he barrels into the end zone, putting the Eagles up 14-0 just like that in the second quarter, and the Bills have no choice but to try again. Henry getting the handoff on the 1st and 10 from the 26, getting a little bit of daylight this time. Dawkins and Jammer combined for the hit. That's an 8-yard gain. Bring it to 2nd and 2. On the toss to the right side, that's a missed tackle by yours truly right there, allowing Henry to get the 3-yard gain and a first down up to the Buffalo 31. This time Henry's going to go backwards 1 yard, but the fractured arm strikes again. Nate Wayne goes down gripping that left forearm of his. It would be another fractured arm, and we would lose Nate Wayne for the rest of the game, but that's why we have 4 good linebackers on our roster, so Mark Simoneau is just going to step right up into that spot. Thankfully, after the 2nd and 11 pass was incomplete, the 3rd and 11 pass is almost picked off by Michael Lewis once again, and this elite Eagles defense is looking like they're going to single-handedly take a championship home for Philly thus far. Proving that point a little bit further, Perry only gets up the middle for 2 yards. McGee is in there on the stop from the corner. 2nd and 8, Ritchie gets the call this time. He only gains 1 yard as Lawyer Malloy is right in there on the stop. Hall forced to throw this time, finds a quick strike to Freddie Mitchell, and even when we were live, I was shocked that he made that through, because if you watch the Bengals game, go back and watch that thing, Andrew Hall was an absolute disaster in the snow. Bruce Perry finally gets a good run to the right side for 9 yards after the 5-yard gainer from John Ritchie. That's now a first down into Buffalo territory. Perry gets the first down run again, only 2 yards up the middle to KO Spikes getting the tackle. Perry getting 5 yards to the left this time. Spikes is right in there for the tackle again. 3rd and 3, Hall having to pass again, finds Freddie Mitchell, his favorite target so far, on the quick slant. That's an 11-yard gain and a first down. Perry getting some daylight to the outside, almost shook Lawyer Malloy with the juke, but couldn't get him. That's a 5-yard gain. Perry on the toss this time got 2 good blocks, but there were 3 defenders, only a 1-yard gain. 3rd and 4, Hall not liking what he's seeing downfield, decides to just take it himself, takes a big hit, and gets a 12-yard gain on the scramble. We're inside of the 2-minute warning, so Philadelphia takes a timeout, but it's only going to take one more pass. T.O. on a hook route was only in single coverage, a huge mistake from the defensive play calling of the Buffalo Bills, and even Andrew Hall can make that pass to Terrell Owens to give the Eagles a 21-0 lead as we head into the halftime. Who was the show? This is the Justin Timberlake. This is gonna ruin the world tour, as they were say, for the Justin and Janet show. So we're gonna ignore the fact that was the halftime show, and we're just gonna go ahead and look at the stats for this one. And the defense has been stifling, to say the least. Only 58 yards in the air, only 19 yards on the ground for Travis Henry, who is an 87 overall. The defense has been doing their thing. The passing game is also holding up, even though Andrew Hall had to come in for the injured Jeff Blake. He has managed that 1 touchdown pass, and more importantly, he hasn't thrown any interceptions. So Buffalo will take over in the 3rd quarter. Travis Henry trying to get something going and really doesn't get anything going. That's only a 2-yard gain over to the left side. Henry gets the call again up the middle. Trotter is in there on the stop for another only 2-yard gain, and you can see here, not a lot of success for Travis Henry here in the Super Bowl. 3rd and 6, Bledsoe from the shotgun, throwing over the middle, and that one's going to be deflected away by Sheldon Brown. The Philadelphia defense continues to be absolutely elite, and Buffalo cannot get anything going on that first drive of the second half. Perry gets up the middle for just 1 yard. Spikes is in there on the tackle. At this point, we're really just trying to run the ball and get a little bit of clock off, and if we happen to get first downs, awesome. But on 3rd down, we're forced to throw again. This was a risky one, but I think T.O. had the coverage of the defensive end there. It was called a defensive pass interference, which we declined because we already had the first down and we wanted the stats. So we're going to move the chains up to the Philadelphia 46. Perry makes something out of nothing, gets 2 yards out of that one, but he's going to immediately lose one on that tackle from London Fletcher. Andrew Hall once again forced to pass, throwing that one over to the left side. Again, he had Chad Lewis in stride and open, but Chad Lewis, the Max Chad, just couldn't hold on to that one a poor performance from our Max Shad so far in the Super Bowl. Taking back over from their own 26, Bledsoe throws that one dangerously incomplete, and we can see the throw chart here. Similarly, a big struggle bust for Drew Bledsoe, who's really only had success throwing on that middle underneath. And this Bills offense continues to chug along slowly. On the 3rd and 8, Bledsoe throws that one deep over the middle with a step. J.R. Reed has that one in his hands. He is tackled quickly, but that is a 32-yard gain up into Philadelphia territory. Bledsoe has that one knocked away again, throwing into double and almost triple coverage many times. Bledsoe looking for someone open downfield, but he's going to be sacked by big Darwin Walker for a loss of 6 yards. Big Darwin, that's his second sack of the day. We didn't show one where he got a sack right at the end of time in the first half. It was kind of garbage time sack, but he has 2 tackles and 2 sacks so far in this Super Bowl. On the 3rd and long, Bledsoe throws that one deep. It was in and out of the hands of his receivers, but that's going to be incomplete. The Eagles taking over deep in their own territory. They're backed up to their own 4. Perry gets up the middle for 2 yards, and Hall, this is some big boy play calling right here. Backed up against their own goal line. Hall steps back, quick drop, lobs that one over the top to Owens. He underthrew him, but it's still a 24-yard gain on the amazing and athletic catch from Terrell Owens. After the 4-yard gain from Perry up the middle, Richie's going to take this one, has some daylight, gets 5 yards for a 3rd and 1. Richie's going to get the ball again up the middle, going to get the first down on his feet, another 5-yard gain, and we are headed into the 4th quarter with the Eagles in absolute cruise control. The first Super Bowl is looking in their grasp. Barring a huge meltdown, the Eagles are up 21-0, and this is not a meltdown. This is quite the opposite of a meltdown. Bruce Perry gets some daylight. He's loose for a gain of 34 yards. He uses the little bit of extra speed boost to avoid 1 tackle, and the Eagles are all the way up into the red zone. They're up at the Buffalo 19. Thomas Tappe, the rookie fullback, getting a run to the right side for a gain of 3, and then Bruce Perry jukes somebody out of his shoes, and he has a 17-yard gain and a touchdown to really, this one is over, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, we are celebrating the Super Bowl win. We are up 28-0, and if you were live on the stream, we were wondering who was going to take home Super Bowl MVP at this point, because I think you actually had a little bit of a discussion between Terrell Owens, who had a good amount of yards, I think something around 75 yards and a touchdown at this point, and Bruce Perry was starting to wake up. He's got a touchdown in his stat column, and he's on his way to getting some good yards under his belt. Now Bledsoe getting a little bit of offense, finds Moulds there for 23 yards. Henry continuing to not really get much in the running game, up the middle for 3 yards. 2nd and 7, Bledsoe going to find Moulds again in the middle of 3 Eagles defenders. That's a 22-yard gain. Move the chains into Eagles territory. Henry runs right for 3 yards. Quentin Jammer is in there on the cleanup after Michael Lewis failed to bring him down. 2nd and 7, Bledsoe dropping back, finding Eric Moulds again. That's going to be a good gain into first down territory. Now it's at the Philadelphia 20, a red zone trip for the Bills. Throwing towards the end zone, this one almost taken away by Lito Shepard. This one is incomplete. 2nd and 10, Bledsoe dropping back, lobbing this one over the top, somehow avoids the 3 Eagles defenders on Eric Moulds. That one is complete in the end zone for a touchdown, and we'll have to take another look at this one because honestly, this is an absolute dime from Drew Bledsoe. Has all 3 of the Eagles defenders moving in the wrong direction, and that is a touchdown. But as you can see here, just a terrible kick from Ryan Lindell. There isn't even any wind right now, and Ryan Lindell just absolutely shanks that extra point. So that one leaves it at 28-6. Bruce Perry getting over to the left side for 1 yard at the Buffalo 35. That means that the onside kick was no good. Richie doesn't really get anything up the middle. Perry trying to get something to the outside, but doesn't want to go out of bounds. That's going to be a tackle from Spikes, and the bad kicking continues. Akers sails that one to the left side. It was a 47-yard field goal, very makeable for David Akers, who, as we'll see later on in this video, did not make one field goal in the playoffs, but I guess we just didn't need that. That's how dominant this Eagles team was in the postseason. Now, this is truly the Bills' last chance to get anything going if they want any chance in this game at all. Bledsoe does manage to find Lee Evans there for a completion of 18 yards to move the chains. 1st and 10 from the Eagles 46. Bledsoe's pass there is incomplete. Looks like it was in and out of the hands of his receiver there. And on the 2nd and 10, this one is technically complete, but it's complete straight to a defender. Jeremiah Trotter, the inside linebacker, who started this game off with food poisoning. If you were on the live stream, he did not start the game in, but he comes in after bravely enduring his stomach issues and gets the interception to truly seal this one And this game, ladies and gentlemen, is over with a final score of Philadelphia 28 to Buffalo 6. The Eagles take home the Super Bowl Lombardi Trophy in their first year of the dynasty, celebrating Andy Reid, the coach. Unfortunately, Donovan McNabb is nowhere to be seen on the bench because he was out with his torn ACL. Maybe he didn't travel to the game. He wasn't feeling it. We didn't see him on the sideline at all. But the Eagles are champions regardless, behind the brilliant play of the backup Jeff Blake and the absolute staunch, elite Eagles defense. You can see the players celebrating here on the sidelines, and I know we were asking who is going to be the Super Bowl MVP, and we see here that Terrell Owens, the cover of the game, takes home MVP honors with his 75 yards and his 1 touchdown. The Eagles fans who made the trek from Philadelphia to Jacksonville have a lot to celebrate tonight, and the Philadelphia Eagles are your 2004-2005 NFL champions. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining us on this Super Bowl game and in this journey through Season 1. We're going to take a look at our final stats and our playoff stats, and we will look forward to trying to come back and go back-to-back to continue to cement our dynasty legacy in Season 2. From Jacksonville, Florida, this is Peanuts 24/7, signing off from the Super Bowl. Taking a look at the stats in the game, we had a very balanced game. 137 yards passing, 137 yards rushing. You can see that the Bills did start to put together a little bit of a passing game that was really by necessity, but they just were absolutely shut down in the running game. You'd love to see it. You'd love to see a good halfback only get 31 yards, especially on the biggest stage. Now you can see here Jeff Blake was having a great game, but Andrew Hall ended up having a wonderful game himself, getting 76 yards, only incompleting 1 pass, and had himself a touchdown with no interceptions. Bruce Perry did end up breaking that 100-yard mark. You'd love to see it. Also, John Ritchie contributed for sure, and he did get into the end zone. Bruce Perry did for that 1 touchdown. He could have had a case at MVP, but that MVP honor did go to our guy Terrell Owens. 6 receptions, 475 yards. He also did get into the end zone for a touchdown. Freddie's 3 catches for 38 yards were nothing to sneeze at, and T.O. did only have 7 targets, so that is a very, very efficient day for Terrell Owens, taking home Super Bowl MVP honors. On the defensive front, Brian Dawkins was our top tackler by total tackles, if you count total tackles and assists. He had 7 in total. Mark Simoneau had a great day with 4. I believe one other guy had 4 as well. Darwin Walker had his 2 sacks. One of them was very timely when we needed it in the third quarter. Like we said, the other one wasn't garbage time. Lito Shepherd and Michael Lewis were just absolutely holding down the secondary today. And as we know, Michael Lewis had that 1 big interception returned for a touchdown. So that's it, man. We're the champions. We went 15-4 on the year. We beat the Saints, the Packers, and the Bills in the playoffs on the way to the Lombardi Trophy. Let's check out our playoff stats. We'll check out our total season stats when we do the next episode with our off-season, preseason sort of deal. But you can see here Jeff Blake had a great postseason until he got injured in the Super Bowl, and then Andrew Hall managed to pick up where he left off. He stuck to the game plan. He didn't try and do anything fancy, and it worked out great for us. Bruce Perry, awesome playoffs for him. I truly think that we have a great outside running back in Bruce Perry. We're going to have to think really hard about whether or not we're going to re-sign Brian Westbrook next year because of this. And of course, Terrell, what would you do with it? I don't think we'd have anywhere close to the amount of success that we did in the playoffs or the Super Bowl if we didn't have Terrell Owens on his team. Hopefully he can still give us a year or 2 of elite play like he did this year. In the end zone 5 times in the playoffs, that's pretty good. Lito Shepherd was our best unassisted tackler. As you can see here, Brian Dawkins was our top tackler with assists, just barely edging out Lito Shepherd there by 19-18. And for sacks, Darwin Walker did have 3 of those things. Javon Kearse did manage. Javon Kearse had pretty much all 6 tackles and 1 sack in the conference finals against the Packers, so he pretty much made all of his money in that conference finals. Of course, Michael Lewis had 2 interceptions, including that 1 big touchdown returned from the interception in the Super Bowl. You love to see it. And of course, your Super Bowl MVP, a little sneak preview of the massive year that Terrell Owens had, nearly crossing that 100 reception mark and he is your Super Bowl MVP here in the 2004-2005 season. So that's going to do it. Next time we come back, we're going to be trying to reload this team because this isn't a rebuild, this is a reload. We're trying to come back and win the Super Bowl again next year in the 2005-2006 season. So thank you for joining us so far in this Season 1 adventure. I've had a lot of fun. I've learned a lot, and I'm really, really excited to continue to build this Eagles team out. So if you haven't already, please like, comment, and smash the subscribe button, especially if you haven't subbed to the channel already. We are on the road to 250. We do live stream these games, these off seasons, all of it, so be on the lookout for those when they're live. And Peanuts 24/7 signing out for real this time. We will see you on the next one.